It's almost like I have no life. Which makes sense, because I'm hosting a panel at an anime convention.
I think the second you walk through these doors, you lost your life.
Right? I mean, we're even in a basement. Like, this is everyone, this is like home for us, right? I'm gonna figure this out, sorry. Okay, I've solved all my life problems. So, this is Gen 5 isn't Pokemon. Alternatively, Gen 1, a critique of the creatures introduced in the 5th generation Pokemon games. I am 5th gen, not Pokemon, which you can follow on Twitter, because I like followers. Right now I'm shilling for the Japanese Communist Party, so that's pretty fun. Alternatively, it's titled, Make Pokemon Great Again. Which was a lot funnier when they made the slide in the summer of 2016. Yeah, I know what I'm doing. So we're going to start off with a quiz to make sure you understand what Pokemon is. Because I really want to know what I'm dealing with my audience. So I'm going to show you an image, and you're going to tell me whether or not that's a Pokemon. Do so by raising your hand.
I'll raise my blade.
Huh?
I'll raise my blade instead.
I feel like I need to change my meme layout for you. Do you have any idea how many like sword neckbeard memes I have? Where's your fedora? Okay, is this a Pokemon? Give it to him. Is this a Pokemon? Good job, you did it. We're 1 for 1. It's Machamp. Is this a Pokemon? Wow, we've got some work to do. So this is my language warning. There's going to be excessive swearing and mentioning of 5th gen Pokemon names. That is Conkeldurr. He's a piece of shit. Is this a Pokemon? You're right, but even if you said no, you're probably right, because it looks a lot like a tube sock. Let's be honest here. Okay, next. This is going to be a tough one. Is this a Pokemon?
Yeah.
Raise a hand. Good job, you're right. That is Shrimpstompuramon. He is a leak from Gen 9. Now, I know what you're saying. Why have they leaked Gen 9 Pokemon? I honestly don't know. They're probably drunk. They were drunk for several years. Huh? There was a test? Is this a Pokemon? Okay, so everyone who said no is correct. That is, of course, Emboar, which is not a Pokemon. So, I think we've set the tone. So first I'm going to go over how to safely research Generation 5. The advice is, of course, don't. But if you like giving troll bait panels at anime conventions, that is not an option for you. An alternative is you can be 5 years old. None of you are currently doing that, which means none of you should be defending Gen 5. So here's like my favorite loopholes. You can go to Smogon. On Smogon, they never explicitly refer to anything as a Pokemon. So you can safely read it without that like logical, like, wait, what? And then your brain explodes like scanners. You can also take off your nostalgia goggles, which is impossible because we're at an anime convention. We have those surgically implanted. And even if you deactivated them, it doesn't matter because Gen 5 is still shit. The final option is, of course, to use a word replacer, which is what I did. Here we have Trubbish. Trubbish is an abomination. And this is Kling Clang, a dumpster fire. In fact, it's the gear dumpster fire from Bulbapedia, the community-driven dumpster fire encyclopedia. And this one is definitely 18 plus, just warning you now. It is, of course, Keldeo, which is a filthy brony. So, hand check for all you cloppers out there. There are people outside in suits. So if this is doing something for you, which it shouldn't, you can go outside and visit them. They will want your name, address, and internet browser history. And they will probably take you to Guantanamo Bay. Huh? I mean, waterboarding. It's pretty close to surfboarding. From like a theme. I don't have friends. That's the secret. So first I'm going to go over mechanics. I don't really feel like reading this slide, so we'll skip it. So this is Golem and not Golem. And so first I'm just going to go over kind of like how Gen 5 things are min-max versions of previously existing Pokemon. Here we have Golem, who is bulky and slow. And here we have not Golem, who is bulkier and slower. Which is really impressive given Golem's speed is already equivalent to that of a golf cart with 4 flat tires. So they just sat there and went, you know what, Golem doesn't need his speed. Let's put it in attack. And there you go, you have a new Pokemon. This is, of course, magnified even worse with Machamp. This hurt. Machamp was OU through Gen 4, then Gen 5 came out and he just dropped like a fucking rock. Because what they did was they sat there and went, you know what, Machamp doesn't need speed and special attack. Hey, let's invest it in attack and defenses. And then they did. So Machamp is circumstantially better, i.e. if you're doing a Choice Specs Fire Blast set, but no one would do that. In fact, you're so stunned by that that none of you laughed at that joke. Now, Conkeldurr's introduction was actually so scarring for Machamp that he quit Pokemon entirely and kind of let himself go. And, you know, he made some cameos in some A90s cartoon. It's Freakazoid. So, yeah, he's Fat Man and his sidekick Blubber Boy, who I didn't bring up. As a note, do not Google image search Fat Machamp. It's not going to end well for you. There's a lot of porn. Very little Fat Machamps. A lot of porn.
Speaking from experience?
I'm scarred. Okay, so this is the final comparison. Here we have Stantler and Deer Thing. Huh? What's stupid, Stantler or Deer Thing? Pick your words carefully, sir.
On the right,
Okay. Okay, good. Good. You got it. Yeah, he should just change to dying. So, see, it's low effort responses, but I don't care. Stantler was a fast mixed attacker, and then they just remade the Deer and went, hey, let's just not make it a mixed attacker and give it better speed and attack. And then they did. But you know what? When it comes down to it, Stantler really has the heart and soul of the Deer Pokemon. It was a heart gold and soul silver joke. You're all fucking casuals. There we go. Just insult the audience. That's all I need to do. So finally, we have these fucking abominations. So if you look at the stats of Pokemon from the earlier generations, they're generally pretty balanced on average. There are a couple instances where that's not the case, but overall, like if you look at a couple instances where that's not the case. But overall, they look a lot more like Pidgeot and Golduck, whose stats don't vary that much. And I'm not going to argue that all stats should be the same, but I am going to argue that things like fucking Darmanitan should not exist. Because look at that. His base stat total is not particularly impressive, but because it's 95 speed and 140 attack, it doesn't matter. And then Dragonite's base attack was what, 134? And now they have a goddamn armadillo with horns with 135. What's up with that? They have destroyed the sanctity of Dragonite for that thing, which I'm pretty sure was named after an aisle in Sears.
Someone salty about the Sandstorm meta.
You think I've played meta? I swept my friend with a Venomoth, thank you very much. He had a Lucario, it was really embarrassing for him. Thank you. Thank you. I made a team of 6 Ladians. The best thing to do is open flinging a flame orb. No one suspects it. Oh yeah, and then Volcarona is just broken as shit. Continuing. So now I'm going to go over the starter. Gen 5 had a problem with one of its starters, and that is, of course, Emboar. Emboar. So I didn't actually make this. I bought this slideshow on Fiverr. And clearly they didn't do a very good job. So we're going to try this again. Emboar. There are a few firefighting starters that make sense. Emboar. I don't know what fetishes that guy on Fiverr was into, but Embor. We did it. It's Embor. So, if you notice, there's a clear trend of firefighting types, which is a problem. In Gen 6, I'm pretty sure they meant to do it, but then fucked up the code at some point. So what happened was in Gen 1, you had like a fire-breathing dragon, so it's fire flying, that's awesome. Gen 2 did a cool thing, which was having all of the starters be single type, which is a good idea. I mean, until then, our only solo grass type was Tangela, so we needed something. And I unapologetically love Meganium. So it was pretty cool that they did in Gen 2. Gen 3, we got firefighting, which was a really weird typing, which was cool. And then Gen 4, they went, hey, let's do that again. And then Gen 5, they said, hey, let's do that again. And based it off Hariyama, or Toru from Jackie Chan Adventures. And then Gen 6, we got a psychic type, which was cool, but of course Gen 7 came around and we got another fucking fighting type again. I mean, just look at it. No, it's not. Have you used psychic on it? You wouldn't know. No, wait, you used psychic on it?
Yeah.
So you believed them. Why did you do that? This is the biggest conspiracy ever propagated, that this thing is fire dark. Like, the deep state is enforcing this. You know that, right? This is what Mueller's investigation is going to uncover. That it's been firefighting the whole fucking time. And then RFK Jr. is going to reveal that he staged his plane crash. QAnon's crazy. So, next, we've got the dragon-dominated metagame. So if you notice in Gens 3 and 4, dragons were about 6 to 7% of the Pokemon in OU, which makes sense when you factor in their 17 types. So that's, yeah, but I can look up graphs. Our graphs, I have a stats degree. This is in my wheelhouse. I know what numbers are, they're real. So in Gen 3 and 4, fires were pretty like representative. Dragons were representative, I know words. Dragons were representative, they're about 6-7%, which is what you'd expect, which made sense. But I think what happened was, since there was a slight downtick in Gen 4, the developers went, well, we need to fix that. And then they did. So it became 14%, which is a lot, which invoked something that really upset Mike Pence, which was, of course, the creation of fairy types, which is just Gen 6 course correcting. Which is good. Gen 6 fixed a lot of the problems from Gen 5. The next mechanical issue we have... I love that image so much. The next mechanical issue we have is speed creep. So in Pokemon, normally stats are divided into like 5. So it's like 5, 10, 15, 20, etc. And you can like stray from that a little bit, and it doesn't matter too much with like HP, attack, defense, and those stats, because like 1 point difference isn't generally going to wildly swing things. That's not true with speed, because then you're faster. And then you always go first. So something they did in Gen 5 a lot was a lot of 101 speed Pokemon. So if you notice, all of the Pokemon there with 101 speed, which you can clearly read because I put so much care into making this visible, I can barely read it and it's on my screen, are from Gen 5. And all the Pokemon with 100 base speed, which makes sense, are from Gen 1. And you know what? Gen 1 never did this. We never once had something not following the speed formula. I want to make sure you know that. And the final mechanical problem we have with Gen 5, before I shit on it for other reasons, is of course Stealth Rocks. Now I know what you're saying. Stealth Rocks are from Gen 4. You're right. However, between the times that Gen 4 and Gen 5 came out, there was a lot of time to fix Stealth Rocks. And when it comes down to it, there are two big things that Gen 4 did to change how Pokemon is played. One was the special physical split. So, you know, all water moves weren't special anymore. And the second was fucking Stealth Rocks. So one was this gigantic, like, game shift, and the other was a goddamn entry hazard. So Gen 5 came out, and they could have fixed it. They could have reduced the damage, or I really don't know what else they could have done. I militantly never used this attack. But they didn't. So then Stealth Rocks was normalized, and we're stuck with it forever now. And to those of you saying, well, they never change moves, they change moves all the fucking time. Blizzard used to be 90% accuracy. That's crazy. I just like this image. It's also like Stealth Rock's made so many Pokemon that would have otherwise been competitive out, like Pinsir, who already had so many other problems, like Heracross existing. So next we have aesthetics. Basically, Gen 5 Pokemon are ugly, prove me wrong.
Based on New York, what do you want?
That's mean. That is the cultural capital of the world. Huh? Honestly, I don't know. There's so many different realities now. Like, yeah, I don't know. The world's a scary place. So here we have fighting pairs. We have Hitmonchan and Hitmonlee, and then Red Pill and Blue Pill. For those of you who caught Red Pill, don't do that. He's going to make you hate women. Huh? That's insulting to Bert and Ernie. They're my heroes. r/Bert strips is where I live. So, Hitmonlee and Hitmonchan have very, solid. Wow, I can't remember words. They're based on something cool. Hitmonchan is based off of Jackie Chan, seen here in his animated adventure series, Jackie Chan Adventures, that follows his adventures as a real-life archaeologist fighting the forces of evil, with his sidekick Toru. And it's a good, wholesome show. It teaches good morals to kids, and that you can't trust dragons, which is also true. And don't touch talismans; they're cursed. And
Oni masks, don't forget those.
Huh?
Oni masks.
I didn't watch that far.
Yep.
Umo Greg. And of course, Hitmonlee is based off of noted Japanese martial artist Bruce Lee. For those of you who are saying he's not Japanese, you don't have a panel. Seen here, fighting noted Mike Huckabee supporter and dying internet meme Chuck Norris, who I saw in a commercial last night, which was really upsetting. I don't want him coming back. So we had some really solid inspiration for Hitmonlee and Hitmonchan. So of course we're going to get really solid inspiration for the Gen 5 counters to that. Of course not. We have Sock. It's a sock. What is inspiring about this? Right? Nothing. Huh? Ferret? No, Ferret's a tube sock. There's a difference. Ferret is also illegal to own in the state of California. Just where I'm from. It's like really weird coming here, going to a pet store, and thinking, wait, you can buy those? That's cool. Huh? Aren't they also dicks? I just want a sugar glider. That's where I'm at before I move out, and then smuggle it into California. And of course, here is the inspiration for Throw, which was a Lonely Island music video. Throw is seen here with Chris Christie after his second lap band surgery. He got one. He's trying. He's trying. So basically, they did not care at all. Continuing the theme of not caring, we have Tentacruel and Heavier Tentacruel, which they're basically the same goddamn thing. We have Golbat and Golbat with more hearts, which are both really fast. Golbat's a mixed attacker, Swoobat is not. They both evolve with friendship because when it comes down to it, all they did was change the fucking sprite. Let's be honest. And then we have Clefable and Clefable Chansey Lovechild. Probably out of wedlock. That's why they make a lot of noise when you find them in the wild. So they're just not trying. They're really trying to relive the glory days of Gen 1. It's not fucking working. And it's not working so badly you get shit like this. So, what?
You get literal trash.
Yeah, you get literal garbage. This is, literal garbage, that's his name. I honestly don't know if those are pipes or cigarette butts. But I know every time I see a picture of it, I want to take up smoking just so I can put a cigarette out on it.
It's a gas pump.
Huh?
It's a gas pump.
It's a gas pump?
Yeah.
Oh, that's the other arm. One of the arms is a gas pump. Yeah.
Both gas pumps.
Oh, so he's a Republican.
Yeah.
Okay. They're fun. Next we have Cling Clang, which demonstrates that Gen 5 has no idea how mechanics works. The point of gears is to, of course, transfer energy, but they have to fucking connect to do that. So the first one with the missing eye for some reason was this. Oh, I put a cigarette out on that too. It spins the next one, which I guess spins the big one, and then there's like the sideways one that isn't connected to anything but still spins because physics is dead. And you wonder why children are failing out of schools.
Space Lisa Rocket from the Jetsons. Or Cogswell Cogs.
Get the fuck out of here, Elroy.
Wait, what'd you call me?
Elroy.
Yo, Gen 1 has a floating magnet that evolves into 3 floating magnets stuck together.
And it's brilliant. You think I'm going to not defend that? I do have a point for that, but I don't address Magneton specifically for it.
It also has a little diglet that evolves into 3 diglets.
Yeah, they literally just copy paste.
Or what I'm hearing from you is you're prejudiced against Siamese twins. Sir. Oh yeah, well at least you own up to it. Piece of shit. Okay, next we have the ice cream cone. Now, this demonstrates a fundamental misunderstanding of ice cream. So, when you scoop ice cream on a cone, you take a scoop and you put it on top. And if you do a second scoop, you put it on top of that one. And we can all agree that's how we eat ice cream, right? Unless you get it in a cup because you're a fucking piece of shit. Which is what I do because I have no self-respect. But here, they took the cone, they put the scoop on it, and they tried to hold it sideways and put another one on. And it's not gonna fucking work. No. That's imaginary. That is not what ice cream cones look like. They are not based off N64. Do you think ice cream controllers came after N64 controllers? What the fuck? So basically, the problem with this, of course, is that it has caused millions of children to drop ice cream scoops, which has robbed our economy of millions. This is why the 2008 crash happened. Worse?
After 2008.
No, it didn't. Do you have a panel? Yeah, yes. Fedora Man. No, I didn't hear you. Okay. So, worse yet, it's vaping. You think that's a Pyroline? You are wrong. That is a vape. They are promoting smoking. Game Freak is in the pocket of Big Vapor. And finally, we have what is only legally a Pokemon in Oklahoma. And had it been created there, they would have had to finish it. Next we have some pinnacles of creativity, which are, of course, Gen 1 Pokemon. Woo! First, I don't remember what country that is, but it was probably part of some grand coalition. Good, we have like 5 YTMND fans in the house. That's Electrode, but my friends replaced it with Poland Ball, and I didn't catch it until just now. I have good friends. I initially thought they emailed the people, be like, yeah, say he's Queen D, because I didn't know that was a person until I saw the schedule. I was like, oh, someone might be disappointed. So I know what you're thinking. Electrode is just a fucking, it's a Pokeball. It's a Pokeball. And actually, that's pretty solid. Because if you look at really any RPG game throughout history, mimics are very prevalent. So, you play Super Mario RPG, and you jump and get one of the question mark boxes. It's like, nope, it's chest that wants to eat you. This is the chest that wants to eat you. Right there. It's perfect. It explodes. That's all it wants to do is just fucking kill people. And he's on it. Yeah. Next, we have Muck. I know what you're saying. It's literally a ball of sludge. Again, that is brilliant work. I'm not even kidding. So, in Gen 1, one of the things they had to do, because they had 15 types, and they wanted to, like make the archetype for each type. That's why your fire starter was Charizard, because a fire-breathing dragon is a great archetype for fire type. Because when you think fire, you think dragons. We'll ignore that. So Muck is a literal sludge monster, because when you think poison, you think a literal sludge monster, which is, again, something that's very prevalent in various works of fiction, none of which I can remember off the top of my head, so I will just say it's the Blob.
Spell his name backwards.
What are you, 5?
Power Rangers.
Huh? Yeah, sure, I've never watched Power Rangers. I just moderate a Power Rangers fan page. And finally, we have Mr. Mime, which looks really creepy, but that's the point, because when have you ever not been creeped out by a mime? If they made it look any less like a mime, it would be a disservice to what it's supposed to be. Also, it's psychic type, and its whole thing is making like mind walls, which makes sense. And let us not forget the former leader of the free world, and leader of the free world forever in my heart, Barack Obama said, and I quote, "Mr. Mime is adorable," and so you know it's a legit Pokemon. Thanks, Film Cal. Next we have badges. These are Gary's 10 badges that he probably bought on Etsy. As you can see, there's the weighted companion cube badge from when he beat Gladys, the bell badge from when he beat up Ben Franklin, the quill badge from when he beat up John Hancock. Really, I think he just went back in time and beat up all the founding fathers. And the water badge from when he beat up a water. I don't know. These are fake as shit. The Gen 1 badges are great. You have the boulder badge, which is a boulder, the cascade badge, which is a water, and the earth badge, which is a grass. It makes so much sense. And they're very pretty. In fact, the only reason I don't own a set is because every time I try to buy one, they're sold out. This is, of course, in comparison to the Gen 5 badges. Here we have the dragon that gives you flamethrower, the dog that gives you recover, and the ox that lets you use strength outside of battle. Why are you laughing? Are these not the Gen 5 badges? They are? I don't trust you. Okay, let's see. Are these the... Okay. So we have the sun, because we gotta let the sun shine in. The heart, because fuck Barney. And the cross, because they were really trying to cater to Mike Pence before they introduced fairies. These aren't the badges either, are they? No, okay, cool. Here we have the Millennium Pyramid for grain storage, the Millennium Ankh for Ankh storage, and the Millennium Falcon for Falcon storage. And I'm just going to assume these aren't it either. So are these it? Earth. You're not going to shout it? Water. Go, planet! With our powers combined, we are... A moment of silence for our loss. I didn't say press F to pay respects. He is worthy of much more than that. He is number one. I just remember Smitty, and I don't remember the rest of that guy's name. See, I'm showing my age. I haven't seen SpongeBob in like 15 years. So, yeah, okay. So, sure, why not? This is my dad's toothpick collection. We have weird bumpy toothpick, even weirder bumpier toothpick, and broken toothpick. Really, I don't fucking, whatever. These aren't real, right? This is a joke?
Yeah, these ones are fake.
Okay, thanks. So does Gen 5 not have badges, or?
No.
No, okay. That makes sense. It was a bad game. They would have really had to cut away from a lot of things. So now we're going to get into some more sensitive subjects. Now, as we all know, racism is something that has never happened in Pokemon up until Gen 5. Never once, ever, ever, ever. Because it happened at least twice. Sad truth, I had a friend who used all dragon types and he was black, so I swept him with a jinx. He was convinced he could breed the ice weakness out of them because he's an idiot. He could not. I swept him with the jinx. So, first we're going to go over the white version exclusive. It is Lilligant, seen here in her native land, a plantation home. Lilligant, shockingly, is just a portmanteau of elegant. Seen here wearing her flower hat and big hoop skirt. When I look at Lilligant, I think of a southern, like, belle from the antebellum South. I know I said southern twice, but I don't care. I don't think I'm alone in that assessment, right? We all agree the white version exclusive is a white woman?
Yeah.
Cool. So this is the black version exclusive. I didn't need to say anything for that. That was just fucked up. So this is Lenora. She's a gym leader in Gen 5, and there's nothing particularly wrong about that. That is, of course, because this is the edit of her sprite. This is the original Lenora sprite. Jesus Christ, Nintendo. Is that what they think of America? Is that where we're at as a society? Cool, I'm going to move on. Villainous teams. I got a SpongeBob reference, and we're good, don't worry. So first we have Team Rocket. Team Rocket is the most legit OG team ever to be around, and I'm not just saying that because I'm dressed as a Team Rocket grunt, and we will make Kanto great again, believe it. Giovanni 2020. So what does Team Rocket do? They steal Pokemon, plain and simple. They also run a casino, because why not? That's pretty shady. Trump did it after all. Otherwise, what else have they done? They took over a media conglomerate. Oh, he did that too. And they took over Silphco. Huh?
Cutting off Slowpoke tails?
Yeah, cutting off Slowpoke. That's actually more humane than what Trump would do to them. And it is not sustainable. And finally, they took over Silphco, which was the largest employer. So, you know, Team Rocket has their shit together. They did. In fact, that's how I fucked up my foot. I got a purple pimp can. I got offered a prostitute earlier today. That's pretty exciting. Huh? Yeah, they are. They're the closest thing to a government Kanto has. Just straight up. Has anyone ever done anything to disrupt Team Rocket in Kanto outside of you? No. They just let them roam free. Lance won't even fuck with them. Giovanni's a gym leader. They can do whatever the fuck they want. They're the most I forgot my word. They're the most successful villainous team in the game. Any game. So next we have Team Magma and Team Aqua. There you go, terrorists. Dude, it's a good fish. So when it comes down to it, they're basically cartoonish versions of what the other team thinks they are. Like you ask someone from Team Magma, like, what does Team Aqua want to do? Oh, they want to destroy all the land. And you go to someone Team Aqua, hey, Team Aqua, what do you want to do? We want to destroy all the land. Fucking perfect. Now, problem with this, well, there's a good thing about this, which is you get this like neat mechanic where you have to like work with one team against the other, and they're like counterbalancing each other, so neither can ever really run Hoenn. So you're just stuck being dominated by horns. Of course, the real problem here is how objectively wrong Team Aqua is. There's way too much water in Hoenn. Seen here, this is Hoenn. Prove me wrong. Next we have Team Galactic. The 5 people who know what Heaven's Gate is, we did it. We're in a panel. Team Galactic's a doomsday cult, much like Heaven's Gate. The difference is, instead of making shitty websites, they just want to, reset the universe. So basically, they want to take the whole universe and compress it into a singularity so they can restart it. And the problem, of course, is you can't fit that much data in 36 bytes. R.I.P. Mayuri. May she, I hope she dies like millions more times in the reboot. That was great. She sucked. Next we have Team Plasma. Oh, sorry, that's real world Team Plasma. Next we have Team Plasma. Basically, they're PETA as a doomsday cult, but also more hypocritical and with way less Kool-Aid. So this is another instance where Gen 4 fucked up by having your primary villainous team be a Doomsday cult. So Gen 5 went, you know what, let's do that better. And they didn't. They just made a Doomsday cult. I honestly think this was just in retaliation to Pokemon Black and Blue version. They were angry. So they took it out on PETA. And because of that, it ruined an entire game. Next, we have Team Flare. Which, they started with such promise. I thought they were just Team Rocket in like red pimp suits. I was like, this is pretty cool. And then like, nope, we're Doomsday Cult and we want to kill all the ugly people. And make a giant space laser. And I'm like, I don't want a story. I'm playing Pokemon. Like, even Mr. Fuji was a little too much for me. Next we have Team Skull. I'm sorry, Team Skull. Yeah, they're basically just real-life juggalos. We'll ignore, of course, that their leader is fucking crazy. But outside of their leader being fucking crazy, they're just goddamn juggalos. Like, there's nothing else. They just chill. They shoot gang signs. Probably listen to shitty music. Drink Faygo. Don't drink Faygo. It uses artificial sweeteners and real sugar. Because whoever designed it was drunk. Or probably didn't understand how magnets work and thought they were fucking miracles. Goddamn idiots. Okay. Next we have the movies. This is gonna be good because I'm riffing this part. I added it in case I didn't have time. So I'm gonna make fun of the movies. The first movie was great. Like, one of the biggest emotional scenes I've ever had in my life. I cried way more during this scene than I ever did watching Grave of the Fireflies. Which is a comedy, in case you were concerned. Which I will categorically prove in my panel on Sunday, Make Anime Great Again. So what has this established as far as like Pokemon goes for movies? Because this was the first one, so it sets the tone. And the tone basically entails Ash has to be the main character, and Pikachu has to be there. That's Ash is driving the plot, may or may not die, and Pikachu's there. We've got a Pokemon movie. Can we agree with that? Yeah. Which is why Gen 5 fucked up. Because we have Kyurem and the Sword of Justice, a.k.a. the story of Keldio's first boner. In case you haven't seen the movie, I'm not lying. That's literally the plot. And the primary problem with this, see how far in the background Ash and Pikachu are? You can tell they're not relevant to the plot. And if you watch the movie, they're not. I think Ash has like 5 lines. And Keldeo does everything. So it's just Keldeo the movie. So because Ash isn't prevalent and Pikachu's not prevalent, it's not a Pokemon movie through our previously established rules. This is in contention with another classic Pokemon movie, Hoopa and the Clash of Ages, which probably gave me cancer. Are you surprised? Okay, so the one person who laughed has seen Hoopa and the Clash of Ages. Why would you do that? Do not watch Hoopa and the Clash of Ages. The only good thing about this movie is that it's a Pokemon movie, because Ash is relevant to the plot. So they fixed the problem, that's what I'm saying. So now we're going to go into mythology. I know, right? It's great. It makes no goddamn sense. Now, outside of that lower corner with the birds and the dogs, everything's fucking retconned. Like, I don't think we need this many legendary Pokemon, and this is easily the most confusing creation tree I've ever seen. Worse yet, humans are on this thing. I didn't know that we could level up. Like, why can't, in the Pokemon games, I go around and just beat the shit up myself, level up, learn good moves, and then fight a dragon?
Because you're Yamcha.
Huh?
Because you're Yamcha.
If I was Yamcha, I would have died. I'm way cool. Yamcha was my favorite character. That was like the saddest thing. I don't know. It was cool. I liked his ice scar when I was like 7. It was super edgy. So basically, humans being Pokemon, I mean, I guess that makes sense. Ash's mom is totally married to Mr. Mime. And together they run the child trafficking ring at the basement of the pizza place. Actually, it's at the basement of the Voodoo Donuts now, if you didn't hear that. No, it's like a real thing. Like, Voodoo Donuts is the new Pizzagate. So go there now, while you still can. So this is a very confusing creation tree, so we're going to pull up a less confusing one, which is, why do I have a phone call? This is a much less confusing one. It is, of course, the Greek gods tree. Right? It makes so much more sense. Basically, you have chaos. Chaos creates all this other shit, which creates Zeus, who then fucks everything. So, if you're ever confused about how something's related in Greek mythology, it probably fucked Zeus. And there you go. It's so simple. Now, of course, what they should be striving for is a much simpler creation tree, which is, of course, that from Jackie Chan Adventures. Or we have an unknown creator has created Shenju. And Shenju mated with we don't really know what, which may or may not be related to him because, let's be honest, I played way too much Crusader Kings for that not to be an option. And we got Draco, and he wants to, make Jackie Chan Adventures great again. So that is as far as any creation tree should go. That's my line.
About his siblings.
Huh?
He has siblings.
I don't care. You think I watched the whole show? I mean, it's the greatest anime of all time, but like... Huh? Is Cory in the House? Cory in the House is not the greatest. No, if it's on Crunchyroll, it's not anime. It's like how it works. I'm also just bitter that they rejected my panels at CrunchyCon last year. We had one called Fandoms Are Cancer. I don't know why they wouldn't give me panels. That is specifically why. So next we have Legendary Bloat. In Gen 1, a whole 5 Pokemon were Legendary, meaning you couldn't even make a team out of all Legendaries. You had to put Pikachu or some shit in there. Which is good, because let's be honest, you shouldn't be able to use a team of all Legendaries. That doesn't make any fucking sense. They're Legendary. So good job, Gen 1. Only 3% of your Pokemon were Legendary. How did Gen 5 do? 8%. Cool. We have 2 trios. I honestly didn't follow the creation, but we got some pairs, got some threesomes, we probably got like an orgy going on. There's a lot going on with those, and it doesn't make any fucking sense. It's like they took all the legendaries from the first 3 gens and went, hey, let's carbon copy those, and then threw them in there. And worst of all, of course, is that we got goddamn Keldeo, who is just shit. So, yeah, I know, a real bummer, right? This is like saying everyone's legendary. Like, this is a low bar. This is why our school system's failing us. That's what I was told, at least, by Rush Limbaugh. So that's the panel. So special thanks, Bulbapedia and MS Paint for making all of this possible. At least as long as MS Paint still exists, I'm pretty sure they're getting rid of that. I don't really care about the rest of the special thanks. That's a lot of reading, and reading is work. You can follow me on Twitter. I'm at 5th Gen Not Pokemon. I filmed it. Yeah, I know, right? It's sad. Why would anyone follow me? All 64 of those people should be lobotomized. I also upload these panels onto YouTube. I filmed it. I have my phone filming me right now. It's really weird. So if you want to see this panel or like all the other ones I've ever given, you can do that by going on 5th Gen Is Not Pokemon on YouTube. And I'm also giving 2 more panels at this convention, Console Wars at 12, which is a brief history of video game consoles. It's a lot less Mime than this one, but still a little Mime, don't worry. Like, there's at least one Jackie Chan Adventures reference in there. We're good. Like, if that's what you're here for, it's there. And there's Make Anime Great Again, which is even memeier. That's at 2, so if you want more